Certainly that is an upsetting situation. And as we lose Holocaust survivors, how can members of the younger generation share in their experiences and then maybe in turn help disseminate it to others, especially via the prime mode of contemporary communication these days, social media? Well, one way is through a project that was initiated by Jerusalem's Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial called the I Remember Wall. Well, joining us now is Orit Margaliot. She is the head of training for professional and curricular development at the International Schools for Holocaust Studies in Yad Vashem, and she's joining us from Jerusalem. Thank you for joining us, Margaliot, to tell us about this I Remember Wall project.
The concept is to engage people in commemoration, and in this way to post a remembrance page for the victims of the Holocaust. And by not only remembering, but being engaged in this commemoration, to feel more obligated to the memory of the Holocaust and being part of it.
Right. And Ori, tell us about how it works on somebody is going in. I mean, what do they have options in order for them to choose that the kind of person that they want to, maybe through some maybe common factor in their own family with the individual?
Yes, they can choose, or if they don't have a family member, to choose one of the victims' names or to bring their own family members who perished during the Holocaust, and in this way to commemorate them and to have a personal connection to the memory.
Right, and tell us about the kind of people who you want to see accessing this site. What is the target audience for a project such as the I Remember Wall?
I think that it's actually a very vast project in the meaning to target as many people as possible. But definitely, if we look also in engaging young people, this could be very important as we are coming further and further from the Holocaust. And today marking 76 years from the liberation of Auschwitz. And later on in May, it's going to be from the end of the war, to find a way to connect them, to be engaged. And this way, not only to feel part, but to become also part of those who create the memory.
Right. Now, of course, we're talking about, of course, the 6 million, a vast number. How are the personalities chosen for the I Remember Wall? I mean, is there a certain pattern or diversity that you want to get in terms of those individuals that are, I'm not going to say memorialized, let's say that in a sense are being kept alive on the I Remember Wall?
I think when you take a look at the I Remember Wall, you can see actually the whole diversity. And this is exactly the idea as we speak of Jews as Jews from all parts of society, of all ages, who are commemorated in this way. Of course, many times people connect more or to people or children of a very young age if they don't have a personal connection. But still, the idea of commemorating all is a very important thing.
Right.
Or as many as possible, if we'll say it that way.
Right. I don't know if you heard the previous report, Orit, but something like 900 Holocaust survivors apparently passed in Israel this year because of the coronavirus. I mean, just to discuss the impact that has on education, the loss of course, it's wonderful we have these virtual records, but the loss of that personal face-to-face experience with survivors that unfortunately seems to be vanishing more and more quickly each year.
This is definitely a challenge that we have to face in the way of how do we mediate the story of the survivors to the current generation as well into the future generation. One of the things that has been done in the last approximately 15 years is to start, and not only to video the testimonies of the survivors in the regular method as it used to be before, but also to follow them into the actual places and to try and to commemorate them this way. So the authenticity of the testimony is kept as they tell their story on the premises of the actual places of occurrence. And we go with the survivors this way, bringing their story from before the Holocaust, during the Holocaust, and the aftermath. And this way we can still transparent and transfer the experience and to raise empathy towards their story and their experience.
All right, and of course, I presume one goes on the Yad Vashem website, and people will be able to be directed from that website to the I Remember Wall project, which certainly seems, especially this year, a worthy venue, and years going forward. Orit Margaliot of the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem. Of course, nothing substitutes for going to Yad Vashem, I have to say, but given the circumstances these days, this is, I guess, as best one can do. Thank you for joining us.